Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dragon Ball Speak, a show where we summarize and review every episode of Dragon Ball Z and rate them each on a scale of 1 to 7 stars. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon.
And I'm Wesley.
And that's Wesley, the same Wesley that you always know. And this is our Dragon Ball Super Superhero Review, not actually featuring Wesley. It is Ryan. The return of Ryan, the much requested and anticipated return of Ryan. Ryan, we have not had Ryan content since Bardock review.
I think it's true.
Which I wasn't in.
That's right.
And then we did History of Trunks, me, you, and Wesley?
Yes, we did.
Okay. So first off, thank you to our Patreon supporters, Zachary Gooden, Brian Kazmala, Aiden Wabel, and Rypato1992. So, we have a lot to talk about. We have Superhero. You and I both just watched Superhero today.
We did.
I saw it in Dolby theaters. I thought I was watching the dub. That is what I thought I had purchased. But I bought the sub, so we both watched the sub.
That's unfortunate. I was hoping we could compare notes.
I was also hoping that. But we literally went in and sat, and as soon as the beginning started, which we're in spoiler-free territory still, as soon as the beginning started, I was like, that is not that is Masako Nozawa. As soon as it showed, Kid Goku's the first scene. It's just a flashback. So we both watched the sub. I watched it in theaters. You watched it at home.
We don't support pirating.
We don't.
We actually, funnily enough, we bought a ticket for me to go see it.
Correct.
And I could not make it. And I also have a legitimate Crunchyroll account, but it's not streaming on Crunchyroll yet. So
Ryan, we won't say Ryan pirated the movie.
That's right.
But he did watch it before it was on Crunchyroll. Somehow.
Connections.
So anyway, the first 5 minutes or so is going to be completely spoiler free. I'm going to let you start. Go ahead. How did you feel about it?
Honestly, I was feeling really good about it, actually. Okay. There's a very clear, defining moment in the plot where it changes, and it, gonna be blunt, it kind of goes downhill quickly.
Okay.
So it's a slow, gradual increase in quality and very good storytelling up until it's not.
Okay. I will say I'm pleasantly surprised with the movie as a whole. We're being very careful not to spoil anything. I was wary of a couple things. I was wary of the plot. I didn't really watch any trailer all the way through.
Same.
But I kind of had an idea of the plot, basically, from what marketing I did see, what little marketing there is. And I was intrigued. I wasn't super excited. But I will say that the plot caught me by surprise, and it was much more enjoyable than I thought it would be.
Very true.
And then second thing I was worried about was the animation. So from day one, I was not one of those people to just write off the movie due to the animation. Some people were. But I will say as well, the movie looked way better than I thought it would.
Yeah, I was I was skeptical at first as well, because it's definitely not the medium that Dragon Ball has historically been in, obviously. And I don't know if they got better at animating as the movie went on, or if I just got used to it. Do you want to let's jump right into it real quick for that, because
wait. So are we going into spoiler territory or not yet?
No,
not yet. Okay, go ahead.
I'm talking about animation.
Okay, go ahead.
So what I noticed was it feels like the characters are they're way too fluid. Like, you'll have a lot of exaggerated movements almost. And I don't know if I just got used to it. And that's what was the clearest transition for me for the animation. I liked it by the end. I did like it.
I thought that was the case for the Red Ribbon characters.
Yes.
Which that's in the marketing. I did not think that was the case for our main characters.
Maybe that ties into what I was saying. Towards the end, it feels like it was less apparent.
I think it's just because those characters are on the goofier side in terms of design and the way they act.
Maybe.
But I hear you.
How was the color quality for you? For me, it felt like it was washed out, but it might have also been my viewing medium.
I did not notice any issues with color. Okay. So, I think I did read something online. Maybe someone was saying something about the color being off. Yeah. I didn't have any issues with that.
Okay. Because there's one part where there was a comment on a color and I didn't actually notice at first. That's how bad it was for me. So I wasn't too sure if it was me, my color blindness, or it was actually just the CGI. Because that actually was a big complaint with Pokemon's transition from the 2D sprites to the 3D CGI models.
Yes.
So it was the colors being washed out. So.
I know what you're talking about, and we'll talk about that more later. I certainly did not have that problem, though.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what else we can talk about that's spoiler free. I will say that it is a heartwarming story. It's fairly self-contained. It is nothing crazy. It's all very small scale, I guess you could say, as a whole, especially for Dragon Ball standards. And there are some decisions they make that I really like. And there's a couple minor issues that I have, which we will, I'm sure, talk about at length. But do you have anything more to say non-spoiler?
No, because I'm actually really ready to dive into this plot.
Okay.
I will conclude with, as far as compared to Dragon Ball Z movies, this is much better than those. And I would say it's definitely better than the previous movies that have come out too, actually.
So you think it's the best Dragon Ball Super movie?
At first, yes.
So
taken as a whole, I think Broly was better. Taken as the first part, it was better than Broly. And then as a whole, Broly was better.
Okay. So let's start. So this is your spoiler warning. We are going to go into full spoiler territory. I'm going to go ahead and start. We're going to go through the synopsis. I could not take notes in a movie theater. I didn't get the chance to watch it twice.
I could take notes.
Ryan's got some notes, but I've got some notes up here in the old noggin. So, but we're going to go ahead and start from the beginning. The setup is a long time. So first off, right off the bat, we get a really, really cool reanimated 2D sequence from original Dragon Ball of Goku fighting the Red Ribbon Army.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Yep.
It was really pretty. It was really well animated, and it was 2D, like I said. So that's super cool. This is when I realized, by the way, that I was not watching the dub. I was like, oh, all right. And I can rock with it. The only thing is with it, I don't mind the sub. I watched a lot of super subbed, but with a huge movie screen, which it was Dolby, the subtitles are so far from the picture that it's a lot different than watching at home.
True. Let me just say about this intro scene.
Yes.
They did Vegeta dirty. Again.
Why do you say that?
They specifically said that Goku stopped and his buddies stopped the androids. Let's be real. Goku didn't do shit about the androids. It was
I noticed that too. Yeah, because it showed, as soon as it said that, it showed Dr. Gero dying to Android 17. But I was like, that's weird. It didn't show Vegeta. Vegeta is the one who stopped.
Goku was sleeping on the job for the androids.
Yeah, because he was sick.
Yep.
You know what? I had that same thought. That's funny that you say that.
Yep.
A long time ago, there existed an evil organization known as the Red Ribbon Army, led by Commander Red. They were seemingly defeated by young child Goku, but as we know, Dr. Gero, I guess it said he escaped.
Which actually was cool because they showed a clip of him escaping.
Yes.
In like normal guard, pre-android.
I thought that was cool as well. Yep. There's another thing I really want to touch on here. He escaped, and many years later, he was responsible for the creation of androids in Cell. All that we know. Magenta, the son of Commander Red, has now spent his time hoping to bring the return of the Red Ribbon Army using Red Pharmaceuticals as a front. So I was going to say, how do you feel about this? Because I kind of wish that we had seen Red Pharmaceuticals somewhere before, and it wasn't just, I don't mind this setup. I just wish it wasn't like out of nowhere.
You know what would have been better? I 100% agree with you. It would have been really cool to see he infiltrated Capsule Corp or something to that effect.
Got hired and worked his way up.
Why make an imaginary company when you have Capsule Corp? If you're gonna go that route, I don't know.
I guess because they framed Capsule Corp as the enemy later on.
But then, I think it could have worked.
I think you could have.
You're
made
right. That would have
work.
been better if there was more setup.
He and his second in command, Carmine, learn of Dr. Hedo, the grandson of Dr. Gero. Go ahead.
We gotta stop here because what is amazing about this? I don't know if you caught this.
I did.
You did. Okay. So they confirmed a fan theory.
They did.
That was I don't know if it spawned anywhere else, but where I heard this fan theory was through Dragon Ball Abridged. The theory that Android 16 is actually the son of Dr. Gero.
Yeah. So what you didn't notice about that part was that his wife is...
Yes, I did notice that part too.
It's Android 21 from Fighters, which I actually don't remember. That's probably in the game that I played, but I don't remember in the story. It's an atrocious story mode. It's so boring.
I watched some clips.
Yeah. It's very boring, so I don't remember any of the story. But I believe we actually did have confirmation from Akira Toriyama that 16 was modeled after Jiro's son before.
Oh yeah, modeled because he wasn't actually an android. Or
He was full. He was full robot, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was before or after the fan theory came up. I can only imagine the fan theory came up first, and then Toriyama was like, "Yeah.
Sounds good." yeah. So just to clarify for everyone else, the Dr. Hedo is not the son of Android 16's.
Yeah. So who's what was the? I missed.
He's the
Okay,
nephew of the Android
I missed
16.
this. He's the nephew of who?
Android 16.
Okay.
So Jiro had multiple kids.
And one of them had Hedo.
Yes.
Did we see a picture of multiple
family
kids?
Tree. No, it was kind of vague.
Okay, fair
It was
enough.
a little family tree.
Doesn't really matter, I guess.
I rewinded and looked at it again.
Okay, I didn't have the luxury. I was like, it kind of went by
quick.
fast.
It was quick.
Yeah, and this is the part where I was explaining to my friend Nick that we are in fact watching the sub and not the dub, and he was very disappointed. But he adapted. It was okay. So as Carmine is driving into the Red Ribbon compound, hidden away under a holographic lake, this all feels very, I don't know, this all feels not very Dragon Ball to me.
No, not at all.
Yeah, very.
Yes.
It was a very different take.
And then it reverted right back to the Dragon Ball universe too. I noticed like that first section where we do the introduction, it definitely felt it almost felt like a post-apocalyptic desert type future world. You know, and then
yeah, because they're driving the futuristic car, but then it's still the Dragon Ball world. So there's like they're in a desert. I guess you could just say that. But yeah, I agree with that. And but then later on, like the robots that the Red Ribbon are using are the exact same design from the original Dragon Ball series. So like it still has that DNA, but this felt Red Ribbon felt very futuristic in this movie.
it's not the Red Ribbon of yesteryear.
Yeah, which I guess was probably an intentional choice.
Yeah, because it's a reboot basically of the Red Ribbon Army.
So they're driving. He fails to notice that he's being followed by Dr. Hido's little spy robot, which is a wasp, which is a callback, of course, to
Ladybugs.
Dr. Giro's bug cameras. Carmine delivers a video presentation on Dr. Hedo to Magenta, which shows a family tree, which we just spoke of. Okay, so it says here in the Dragon Ball Wiki, I don't know if this is true or not. Family tree consisting of his grandfather, Dr. Giro, grandmother, Android 21, who I guess her name was Vomi, and his uncle Jivo, who before his death became the model for Android 16. Mm-hmm. I didn't know those names. I don't know if that's true or not. Anyway, point being, although he's a genius, Dr. Hedo is unable to find steady work due to troubling research, which includes resurrecting previously deceased humans and using them to run a convenience store. So they say he's in jail for 4 months or whatever. And so the two Red Ribbon guys decide, let's wait for him to get out of prison and use him for our Red Ribbon resurgence. How do you feel about the intro so far, the setup? Are you okay with it?
Yeah, I do think his robots that he got arrested for, his androids that he got arrested for, were kind of like oddly low quality.
Frankenstein?
For the quality of work that they're saying he had. That kind of threw me off. But otherwise, yeah, no, the intro was pretty solid, I suppose. I like how Magenta was, like the character Magenta, I like how he's not red at all. Like, very different. But, I don't know. Yeah, it was good. It was a good intro as far as intros go.
Yeah, I was never a fan of the Red Ribbon arc, actually, in the original Dragon Ball.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it's very interesting. I think it's actually pretty bad.
Okay, I'm surprised we disagree at that point. Actually, the Red Ribbon arc was actually one of my favorite arcs.
I think you are remembering it differently.
Probably. It's been a while.
It's not bad when you read the manga, but when you watch the original Dragon Ball anime, it is very not super fun to watch.
Okay. Maybe we just disagree.
I love the Red Ribbon stuff in Z with Cell and the androids. That's all fine. But anyway, so I wasn't all in at this point, I will say. But I'm intrigued. Once Dr. Hedo is released from prison, he's dressed in a superhero-style suit and meets Carmine and Magenta. They pull up in a car. He's like a little suspicious of them at first, and then he goes in with them. They bribe him money, and they bribe him a job, and so on.
Yeah. I don't know if he was suspicious, though.
Sorry. He wasn't suspicious of them.
Curious.
He was curious of them because he had actually surveilled them previously because they were a little sloppy, and they didn't know that he had the Wasp robot.
One thing that bothers me here, though.
Yes.
So you haven't got to it yet, but basically he's very clearly wanting to be a good guy, since that he wants to be a hero.
Yes.
He knows, he did the research, he knows who he's talking to, he knows the people that they work for, like he knows the company, the Red Ribbon Army. But he doesn't know what the Red Army did. Like, I get they're going to get to this where they convince him, but otherwise, I mean,
when they convince him, he says he doesn't know much about his family history.
Yeah.
And he thinks Red Ribbon Pharmaceuticals or whatever it was called is like just a company. And he's not. He's very smart in the fact that he's a doctor, but he doesn't have a lot of common sense because they're able to convince him that the Capsule Corps is secretly bad guys.
Actually, I like that. Actually, you have to remember he's a normal guy. Right?
Yeah,
We don't. He's not. He doesn't see what we saw.
Right.
And he's not really in depth into politics or like the world mechanics. What's going on? He's shown as a very immature 24-year-old.
Right.
Like honestly, he acts more like a 12-year-old.
Right.
As far as maturity goes, so to be sold that this all-powerful company is actually evil, I think it's actually pretty good swing. You know?
I think it's cool because they're like multiple people have been seen flying in and out of Capsule Corps, and I was like, that's kind of cool.
That's true, and it goes back to one of the big things I wrote was I love the lies that they told him because they were all grains of truth, and that's a great way to manipulate in story. It's to manipulate your characters and just in general. This is how you lie, guys, is you always include that grain of truth so it sounds more legitimate. So he says, like, he's talking about aliens. Yeah, the Capsule Corp is working with aliens. Our main character.
That is
our
true.
Main cast is like 90% aliens.
Which is funny because later on in the story, Gohan transforms into Super Saiyan and someone's like, I knew he was an alien. And they are not wrong.
Yep. It talked about how the evil androids betrayed their creator. Yes, they did.
Yes.
They even Demon King Piccolo was on their side. And yeah, that's all true.
That is true. So yeah, they pick him up, and Magenta proposes that Dr. Hedo comes and works for them, even though he's reluctant. He does know that Red Pharmaceuticals is secretly the Red Ribbon Army. His grandfather's connection to the organization causing trouble for himself and his parents. I think I said that wrong. But either way, I think I put the emphasis on it wrong. But as a superhero fan, he also takes issues with their plans for world domination. So I'm sorry, I forgot that, yeah, he was vaguely aware of that, and he, as a superhero fan, but that's when they convince him that actually what we're doing now is we're fighting the bad guys, Capsule Corps.
We must do evil to do good, is what they said basically.
Right, and for
how they were selling it anyway.
For no reason, the driver threatens him with a gun, which is really just so they can plant this. Apparently, Dr. Hedo has taken a shot that has strengthened his skin.
Oh, and not only that, but also a Chekhov's gun, showing off the bee's ability to sting people. Sorry, Hornet.
That's the real purpose. He's like, and by the way, my Hornet would be able to kill you anyway. Yeah. Better than a bullet.
Better. I don't know.
He said better than It takes a minute. In addition, Hachimaru, which is the robot bee, lives in a compartment on his glove, carries the lethal poison. Magenta appeals to his sense of heroism and informs that they believe Capsule Corps is the bad guys. He shows him a footage of Future Trunks killing Frieza, which was pretty cool.
From a different perspective.
Which I love when love when anything does that.
Yep. And you know what that footage was from, right?
The Dr. Giro's cameras, right? Yeah. Because that's how they got Frieza's DNA is when he came to Earth.
Yes.
For Cell. So that's pretty much the setup for the Red Ribbon side of the plot. I am interested at this point. I'm not like all in, but I'm like, it's strong enough intro to the plot for me.
Yes. Good enough.
6 months later, Piccolo is training 3-year-old Pan in the woods near his home.
Yes.
You like it?
I watched GT, obviously.
Yeah.
And Pan was not a good character there, let's be real. But here she was actually a very solid character, I feel like.
I loved her in this movie.
She was not 3. Let me rephrase that. Her personality and vocabulary was not that of a 3-year-old. And per usual Dragon Ball style, we do not know how to define the ages of our kids.
Maybe she's like almost 4.
Sure.
She's 3, almost 4. 3-year-old Pan. We'll talk about it more later, but I loved Pan's characterization a lot in this movie because she's not an annoying child.
Yet.
And she's strong and she is smart, and it is a really great character. And especially if you have watched GT, Pan is the worst character ever, basically, and useless.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Now, Pan has actually got enough. I don't know if I wish they aged her up because I don't know. It just does not seem right that she's 3 and is able to be as competent as she is. So that's a little throwy for me. But at the same time,
it's the daughter of Gohan, though. He's the smartest.
Yeah.
He's one of the smartest guys, you know?
Right.
I'm sure he's got her studying, and she's in preschool. So she's trying to learn how to fly, but Piccolo's like, don't worry about it. We need to learn the basics first. She's shown it's clear that she's pretty strong already. She's attacking Piccolo. Obviously, he's not taking it easy on her, just like he didn't take it easy on Gohan. Very characteristic of him. But it'll come in time. As we know, at this point, we're like, oh yeah, by the end of the movie, she will fly. Which I don't know if you remember.
She didn't say she couldn't fly. She said she couldn't do chi blasts, that was a little confusing to me.
That's true, but right after that is when she attempted to fly.
True.
But you're right. Whenever he said, let's do the basics first, that's when, in reference to when she was saying that she couldn't do blasts and stuff like Trunks and Goten. So I don't know if you remember this. There is a Dragon Ball Super episode where Pan is a baby and is flying all over the place. But obviously that is no longer, well, it really probably never was canon, but now it's super not canon.
Confirmed.
Anyway, so Pan asks if it's true that her father could really be stronger than her grandfather Goku, as if because she's never seen Gohan fight, her dad. Piccolo says that he could be, but he's not so sure about him right now. Again. Which we went, yes, it's a little tired. We went through this right before the Tournament of Power. So that's what's frustrating. That's what's frustrating to me. So after the Resurrection F saga.
Go ahead, sorry.
After
you can go further back.
There has been a few times. So starting with Boo, then Resurrection F, then Tournament of Power. I think that's it. Basically, every single time it's been like, Gohan's like, oh yeah, I really need to keep up with my training because this is going to keep happening. And every time he gets caught up in his studies and he needs to be reminded by Piccolo that he needs to keep up. I will say, I think this was the best instance of it because I liked how Piccolo throughout the story was actually like manipulating the situation to force Gohan to realize. I thought that was really cool.
Yep.
So Pan heads off to kindergarten. Piccolo returns to his house. I love that Piccolo has a house.
And did you notice the chair? It's the same chair
as Guru. Did you notice the house? The house is the same shape as the ship that Kami came to Earth in. Yes.
I recognize the architecture.
Yeah. It's the same as it's all the Namekian architecture, but it's the exact same shape. I love that he has a house. It's kind of cool because it's like, oh yeah, I guess he does live somewhere. He's always there, but where does he live?
Filled with stuffed animals. Confirmed.
I love that. I loved his characterization in this movie.
I love the way they treat stepdad Piccolo, man. Like they love him. He's part of the family.
He really is part of the family. He gets a call from Videl asking for if he can pick up Pan after kindergarten, and he's like, why can't you do it? And she's like, I'm prepping for martial arts school.
He lectures Gohan about not taking care of his kid.
And it's like, Gohan, you should be taking care of your own kid. And he's caught up in his studies. So he's like, all right, I'll go pick her up. So Gohan remember this. Piccolo goes to Gohan's house and alerts Gohan that he is there by scratching the window. He goes, ee! And Gohan freaks out. Gohan's studying bugs. I don't know if you knew that Cell was in this movie. I did, unfortunately. That's your first clue, is that Gohan's studying bugs.
Super Saiyan bugs.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was up with that.
I think it was just to say, oh, look how interested I am. This is why it's interesting to me, because it turns yellow.
Right. Similar to Super Saiyan. But yeah, basically he's studying entomology. He's all wrapped up in it. He's been in there for days. Videl hasn't even seen him. Piccolo clothes beams him. We have a return of clothes beam.
Yes.
It looks good. It's our first time seeing adult Gohan in Piccolo clothing. I think that's true. At least with the cape. At the very least with the cape. And then in the manga version of the Tournament of Power, he wears the Piccolo gi, but he doesn't have the shoulder pads.
Correct.
Anyway, Gohan talks about how busy he is, and he's trying to explain his research, but Piccolo really doesn't care. Instead, he's asking him if his research is more important than his family and implores him that he needs to train in case Evil were to show up again. Funny they have this conversation the exact day that Evil shows up again.
Wow. Coincidence.
Funny how movies work. Gohan, he kind of like waves it off. He's like, things will be all right. Goku and Vegeta are around, which they are still around. I will say when Gohan was like, we're talking post-Cell, and when he's training for Majin Buu and stuff, Goku and Vegeta aren't around, so he has to be the person that is training. That's a whole can of worms on its own, right? But point is, Goku and Vegeta are alive and present for the most part, so he's not super worried about it. But Piccolo's like, he throws a punch at him, but Gohan blocks it, and I like how he's like, I haven't lost my edge yet. But Piccolo then punches him in the stomach with another blow.
I like to imagine that he punched him even harder after that.
Yeah, I like that too. And I like that he clothes beams him and he just keeps the clothes on because he's so busy. He's not worried about changing. He's like, oh, these are heavy. And he just keeps them on. So at this point, I'm sensing the DNA of the movie, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Piccolo, I was at this point very surprised that we were still, Piccolo to me is almost the main character of the movie. Because yes, Gohan is very present in the movie,
And
but
they sold it, I think. Again, I kept marketing to a minimum for myself, but I think they sold it as a Gohan movie too.
yeah, they sold it as a Gohan and Piccolo duo, basically like buddy cop movie. Yeah. You know what I mean? Both of them.
I would say it's like, my perspective was, you could make a movie from Gohan's perspective, but this was really like almost like the perspective of Piccolo almost. That's how I felt it was.
No, it was. I completely agree. Yeah, I would call Piccolo the main character of this movie. Piccolo returns home and he's meditating again. He's meditating again after getting the phone call from Videl. By the way, I think it's funny how, like, one, he doesn't really know how to use a phone. He holds it weird. Two, yeah, like you said, we see all the plushies in the corner, but his ringtone is a cat meowing, and his phone case is like a kitty cat.
I like to think that he keeps questioning, like, why are you giving me these plushies? But I think what it really is they know he secretly loves it.
That's what's funny is I didn't pick up on that, but my wife said that. She watched with me, and because I was just like, well, they don't know what to get him because he doesn't eat food, and then it's like she was like, no, he secretly likes the plushies, and I was like, no way, that's so awesome.
I think his phone is probably just some kind of cover because like some other markets, like, they love to customize their phone like that. I bet you that's what it is. So you could peel that off at any time.
He secretly likes the little plushies.
Yep.
So he's attacked by Gamma 2.
I also want to point out that I love how usually when we see Piccolo meditating, he's just literally just floating there. It's really visually boring. But this time he's actually like holding up an entire like plateau.
Yeah.
While he's meditating. That was a cool addition. I loved.
I thought that was great too. Oh, also I love that it pays
homage.
No, I'm not going to say that. Oh. I love that it references the fact that he has way better hearing than any other character. The fact that he's able to hear his phone ring from that distance.
Yes.
So yeah, he's attacked by Gamma 2. We get a very short fight between Gamma 2 and Piccolo.
Yep.
I'm not a huge fan here of the fact that Gamma 2 was essentially able to take the win here. I know that Piccolo wasn't fighting very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first they have a conversation, and Gamma 2 says, you don't get to know my identity yet, but I'm kind of like casing you out. And Piccolo's like, I see that you're Red Ribbon.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah. So, well, now that the cat's out of the bag, I'm going to kill you. So he's like, okay.
Evil King Piccolo.
Evil King Piccolo. And he's like, you don't have to call me that anymore. I'm just Piccolo. Or don't call me that anymore. Yeah. Which I wonder... I guess it makes sense that Red Ribbon would remember him as Demon King Piccolo, given that it was in between.
Not even that so much as, like, when did the public see Piccolo as not Evil King Piccolo? They saw him fighting Cell.
I guess fighting Cell.
But and the focus really was on Mr. Satan there.
Right, yeah. I don't think that would have been.
Yeah. So really, I mean, so far as the public cares, that he is Evil King Piccolo.
And as far as their records go, right? Yeah. I guess Cell is part Namekian because of Piccolo, but anyway, point being, so they have that short conversation. We get a very short action sequence where really Piccolo kind of gets his ass kicked a little bit.
So you mentioned that you weren't too happy about Piccolo sneaking off and taking the L or whatever, right? You realize that is Piccolo's style because we actually saw him do that kind of before, this bluff type thing. Even though this one wasn't really bluffing so much, but he did something very similar with Cell, where he took the L fighting pre-imperfect Cell.
It's just imperfect.
You're right, because then it's semi-perfect. I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. But regardless, like, he took the L to gather the information, and that's what he did here. Because he took... I wouldn't say he took the L because he did lose. He was going to lose because he made it clear that they're as strong as Goku and Vegeta, which I have problems with. But anyway, I think I would have preferred... Sorry, the little tangent here, but I would have preferred that they were not as strong as Goku and Vegeta. And that I almost feel like...
I don't think they were... as strong as Goku.
They're stronger than Piccolo.
That is true. Piccolo
has
not been in the picture for quite some time.
Agreed. But you don't trust Piccolo's judgment on that?
I don't think he said they were as strong. I said he thought it was close. I think that's what he said.
I'm wondering what the dub said. Guys, for the viewers who just are like, no, you guys are completely wrong. Remember that some details might be a little different.
Slightly different. Yeah. Right. So you got to remember too, Piccolo, I suppose if you count the Tournament of Power, he did some stuff, but really he's been out of the game since like he fought 17.
Cell. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cell Saga.
So he's been left in the dust for quite some time.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But then again, yes, he has very good judgment when it comes to that kind of thing. So I guess it's probably true. So yeah, they fight briefly. Gamma 2, he blasts him and he thinks that he killed Piccolo. He, of course, did not.
They said a line that bothers me a lot.
Tell me.
Wanting to be a hero and programmed to be a hero,
Yes.
I wanted to see his corpse's face.
Yeah.
That was a little dark.
He thinks he's destroying a supervillain.
Yes, but to still, like, a hero
Yeah.
would never say, I want to see your dead face. Yeah, I get it that he wants to confirm the body. That's one thing, but the way they framed it was off. They shouldn't have used that line. I don't know.
Was this where Piccolo is like, why is there words appearing?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, during that. Where are these words coming from?
I think it's funny because at first I thought it was a fourth wall break.
Me too.
But then later,
yeah.
we see that there's actually a hologram system on his back.
Yes.
So that it actually shows the words. Yep. So that's funny. I enjoyed this little... I was surprised that this fight happened when it did. I thought we were going to get more time without action.
Yeah.
Just because if you think about Super Broly, the first 45 minutes of that movie is exposition, and then the final 40 minutes is fighting for 40 minutes. So I kind of figured once again we were going to have an exposition and fighting. But, it was a little bit more mixed up.
I think it was definitely a better structure as far as storytelling
As
goes
a
here.
movie...
Yeah.
As a movie, I agree. It was structured better plot wise and balance in terms of fighting and plot. Piccolo does notice that Gamma 2 is an android. He notices the red ribbon logo, like we said. And after he loses, Piccolo, he had just managed to dodge Gamma 2's attack. He slipped away, and then he followed him back. So he trailed him back to the red ribbon base. Piccolo subdued a guard and stole his uniform to use it as a disguise. Once again, I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but it doesn't feel like a very Dragon Ball story. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like Piccolo going like covert ops into a enemy base just doesn't feel like
it's
nothing like it's not character assassination.
That's something Bulma would do.
Yeah, I just don't know.
Or I 100% hear you. It's like they took all of Piccolo's lines were right. The voice actor was great, obviously. But it's like
his lines were great. The characterization was great.
Yeah, his actions in this whole section were not his character for sure. It'd be like Goku doing that.
But I mean, then again, he's in a situation where he has to get information.
True.
He's not just gonna. He's clearly seeing this foe, and now he knows there's two of them as formidable. So he can't just go in guns blazing. And he wants more info. Like, what do we want him to do?
Yeah,
it's not a stupid thing to do. It just doesn't feel. Tone wise, it doesn't feel like what we're used to. That's not. I'm not saying it's a horrible thing.
Yeah, and I can't think of a good alternative either. But yeah, I hear where you're coming from for sure.
Yeah, he gets into the control room with all the Magenta, Carmine, Dr. Hedo, the two Gammas. The Gammas. How do you feel about the Gammas?
I hate their design. I feel like here's the thing: they're androids.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking of like Android 17 and 18, they were human, and they were with robotic additions, changes. These characters are not robots or not androids.
So 17 and 18 were humans that were modified on a cellular level,
right?
And they had a bomb in them.
Technically cyborgs,
but they're basically human. They're enhanced humans.
They're not. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Not Jiro. 16 was a robot.
Yes. Technically android, but not by Dragon Ball's definition. Anyway, continue.
Android 21, who is now canon, is actually an android, but has Majin cells. Spoilers if you haven't played Fighters, I guess. It's not relevant. And then...
They're loose and easy. Their usage of the word android makes things so confusing. Are these two... Are the Gammas human or not? Or even... Let me rephrase that. Are they biological?
Yes, I think they are. Because he says you are not robots, you are androids.
True. So then why their design is just so out there?
They sound like metal too when they punch them. The sound is like a metal sound.
So like I don't understand like how like what's their base form? Where is their design coming from? I think it's just I just feel like they just wanted to make it look alien-esque and not human for some reason. I don't know where that's coming from.
I didn't get an alien vibe. I just got robot vibe.
I was getting Frieza vibes. Well, not like I think he's Frieza so much as like Akira Toriyama's art style for the aliens tend to kind of run similar in a way. because it's not like
I know what you mean.
But
He did design those characters too, from what I read.
That makes sense. I did not read that, and I can see that.
I can see it because they're so skinny, because his modern designs are very skinny.
Yeah, it's the ear holes.
Yeah, he does the same ear holes. Do they have the ear holes?
They have rectangular blocks there, if I remember right.
Yeah, he has two kinds of alien ears. It's the Frieza round ears, and then it's the Cell square rectangle ears.
Yeah.
And then it's the Majin Buu holes.
Yeah. The characters are interesting looking. I would just wish they were just robots. Like, don't say that they're biological, you know?
Sure. Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe I'm
as
nitpicky. I don't know.
It's a bit of a nitpick, but I don't think it's you're not acting like it's the end of the world. I do think their design isn't consistent with Dragon Ball Universe again, but at the same time, like, yes, it's a different person designing them. Like,
is that true though?
Dr. Hedo is the one who built them.
Okay, I thought you meant Akira Toriyama.
No, in universe, it's a different person designing them.
Right.
Anyway, they're having a meeting, just talking about their plans. Gamma 1 chastises Gamma 2 for not confirming Piccolo's death. So why do you think they have two? That's my thing. There only needed to be one Gamma. Narratively, like, I just don't see the purpose. I guess for when Piccolo and Gohan are fighting the two Gammas, I guess. But, like,
from a narrative standpoint,
yeah,
I was hoping
that they would fuse.
No, that like one of two things.
Try to talk a little closer.
Sorry. Yeah,
it's okay.
One of two things. One, when I heard that Cell was involved, I was hoping they would get absorbed. I also thought that was going to happen. Or the second hope I was hoping was that maybe Android 17 and 18 would be involved with the story and would, like, talk sense into them, or like welcome them to the human world or something to that effect. I don't know. That could have been. But that was my forethought, my prediction, that why there was two. Yeah, I did think so. I was like, narratively, they're not going to keep these characters around, or so I thought. Of course, now we know one of them died, one of them did not. Point being, I was like, I think they're going to either die or, like, go somewhere or something. And I was like, oh, they're probably going to get absorbed by Cell Max, and then Cell Max is going to die, and they're just going to be gone. Yep. That is not what happened. Anyway, so he chastises him because he didn't confirm Piccolo's death, and then he reveals the camera footage that he got away. So Magenta's angry, and he says that if this mistake reveals their identity to the enemy, they'll have to hasten their plans. And then he says, you need to finish Cell Max so that we can go ahead and get that going. And he's Dr. Hedo is hesitant to activate it because his control system isn't finished, meaning he could easily turn against them. Androids don't turn up against their creators. No, never. Piccolo hears the conversation about Cell Max, contacts Bulma by phone. Before we talk about that, okay, go ahead. No, you first. No, you go first, because mine's about the phone. Oh, okay. I was going to say, at this point, okay, so you had no idea that Cell was going to be involved. I had no idea. So you were very surprised? I was very surprised. What were you expecting? I've seen basically every spoiler you can see in this movie I saw a month ago. I thought we wouldn't see Cell Max at all. I thought maybe we would stop him in time, because what I was thinking was, again, I thought maybe that Cell Max is going to come around and then absorb the two androids. But then I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if we have enough time for that. So I thought maybe we'd stop them in time, and we just destroy Cell before he's created, just like we did in this universe's Cell. In the separate. Oh yeah. And this time, so like while they're still while it's still being created, they do go ahead and destroy them. They would never have done that. That's such a blue balls move, because everyone loves Cell. Yeah. So I didn't know where. So admittedly, I did not really know where they were going. Like that was my only thought. So what happened is definitely not what you were expecting. So you probably thought, if anything, okay, we're gonna get like a Resurrection F, but Cell. And then what we got from Cell Max is probably not at all what you expected. I will say I was looking forward to, like, Perfect Cell, like maybe his voice personality-wise, something, man. But jumping ahead a little bit, yeah. We'll talk about that more later. Yep, for sure. That's a big point. So he contacts Bulma by phone, asks if Goku and Vegeta are around. Yes. And then what does he do? He says, well, get him to come back home ASAP. Does he tell Bulma what happens and what he heard or what he saw? No. And it's just one of those things, and that happens a lot, I feel like, in TV shows in general, and it's that communication. Just tell Bulma. Like, why not just tell Bulma what he's seeing, what's going on, and then however method you get a hold of Goku and Vegeta, you can tell them. It wouldn't have changed. What I thought was about to happen was that he was about to get captured or fought or defeated or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I was so frustrated when I took that note. It's like, just why not just tell her right then and there? Like, hey, Red Ribbon's back. They're trying to rebuild Cell. Done.
Yeah, that's fair. Because Bulma would have understood the weight of that situation. Yeah. But no, they're off training with Beerus. He asks Bulma to contact Whis. Whis' color was weird. Now that you say color, he was weird looking color-wise. His model was a little off, and then the color was weird. Anyway, Piccolo's heading to Korin's tower to get some senzu beans. So before we cut to Beerus' planet, any more comments about any of that?
No, no, we're good there.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about this planet. Here we go.
Okay, how'd you feel about it? They're training on Beerus' planet. What do you think?
We've established new Rule 34 lore.
Oh, Beerus X Chile.
Oh my god, dude!
That was
they did that. I was like, no.
That's so out of character for Beerus.
Absolutely. Like, he's a god of destruction. None of the gods of destruction have implied any kind of sexuality, and to have Beerus give the oogly eyes to Chile was just
not to mention
weird.
Chile is Broly's de facto girlfriend. Like, to me,
he was not inappropriate with her.
No. It wasn't Master Roshi.
Yeah.
It was just, he said she was cute, but it was just, it felt weird to me. Yeah. Beerus is a character that I really like because he's used so sparingly and because he's really interesting, but that was weird.
Yeah.
And then Whis, like I said, the color of his skin was very different. It was like way darker blue than normal, or maybe more purple than normal.
Yeah. I wouldn't have minded if Beerus just stayed asleep this whole arc, like this whole movie. You know what I mean? Just, he's napping right now. You know what I mean? He had no relevance to the movie besides that weird, like...
Just eating, pretty much. But in the anime and in Dragon Ball Super Broly and in this movie, he hasn't really done anything except for eat and sleep anyway.
Yeah, well, maybe removing tension.
Yeah.
Like, he interrupted a lot of the movies to me, and I just feel like he didn't even do that, though, in this movie.
Yeah, he's pretty useless. He's pretty useless in this. Yeah. I think it's more like hey, it's Beerus.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
we know him.
Oh,
I know him. It's the same with Broly. So Broly, for people who don't read the manga out there, I don't skip 15 seconds if you don't want to hear this. I don't consider this a spoiler. Broly has not appeared in the manga. The manga the Broly movie is canon in the manga. They reference it once. Ever since then, Broly has not been mentioned or has appeared in the manga.
And I'm fine with that.
This movie takes place after where the manga currently is.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So this is the first time we've seen Broly.
For clarification for everyone else, I actually have not read the manga at all.
So yeah, that is interesting to me. So this is the first we've seen Broly since the Broly movie. He is with Goku and Vegeta training. It seemed all we really get is that he's training to control his power a little better.
Which is interesting too, because years have passed, and yet it feels like this is the first time they're training
With Broly
together. Yeah.
Yeah, I got that impression too, or they haven't been doing it for long at least.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, the manga is past the Broly movie, pre-superhero, and we haven't seen Broly, so that actually checks out. So Broly's powering up, and he starts to get carried away. So Goku's like, "Hey, relax. We don't want you to go crazy and destroy everything again." I like that he's there. I think it's cool. I like that they're not just ignoring the fact that the character exists anymore. Like, the character is there. He could be very useful, so I like that they're training him. Meanwhile, Vegeta is meditating. This is interesting to me. He explains to Goku that it is a form of training, because Goku's like, "Why aren't you training?" And which Goku has seen Piccolo meditate, train, and Goku himself has trained meditating before. I don't think he has in the manga, but he has in the anime. Point being, Vegeta asks Goku if he notices that in the Tournament of Power, the gap between Jiren and their power may not have been so great in the traditional sense. I disagree with this.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
Jiren, I still think to this day, possibly a hot take, I think to this day, Jiren is the most brick wall of an antagonist that we have ever had, in the sense that he genuinely feels so maybe since Frieza, feels so much stronger than everyone else to a point where it's like borderline
I
hopeless.
would say no. I would say Cell even like where like he just became perfect Cell, and like before everyone trained in the hyperbolic time chamber. That's what it felt like.
Maybe. I still think that Jiren. He has shown. There's no assumptions. He is shown to be so far ahead. Like, we get the sequence when Jiren versus Goku round 1 happens. We get the sequence where Goku goes through all of his forms up to Super Saiyan Blue, Kaioken, times 20. And even then, he gets absolutely destroyed by Jiren. Like, he essentially doesn't even land a hit on him. So I don't, but anyway, his point was that Jiren, which I like how much they reference Jiren, because that's another character that has not been referenced in a really long time. And I think that he needs to be referenced more often. He's able to
get a little bit more development.
For sure. Yeah, he needs it. He's able to save all of his energy for specific instances of attack where his body is essentially relying on instinct, almost Ultra Instinct-ish, but they didn't name drop Ultra Instinct.
It was more like conserve, and maximize your output right before you strike, basically. It wasn't so much Ultra Instinct, I felt like. It was more, don't use 100% until you're about to land.
What's funny about that, so in the manga as well, during the Goku Black arc, the Goku and Vegeta both employ that strategy with Super Saiyan God. They're using Super Saiyan God to preserve stamina and energy until the moment that they punch, and in the very moment that they punch, they switch to blue. And then after the punch lands, they switch back to God. And it's actually really cool, and I wish that the anime would have done that as well.
That would have been cool.
Well, that's the point where the anime got ahead of the manga, so they started.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Vegeta's trying to focus on being able to fight the same way. Long story short. Whis applauds Vegeta for realizing this, and he proposes a training match between the three Saiyans, which I wish they would have done. But Vegeta says he doesn't want to do it with Broly because he's going to get carried away and they'll all be in trouble, which is probably fair.
Yep.
Beerus woke up from a 4-month nap. This is one of my issues with Beerus, too. The first time we meet Beerus, he has napped for like hundreds of years.
Yes.
And now he just takes naps that are like a few months.
I agree with you. You're right. But I actually like that because I think what it's supposed to show, I think this whole time, it's kind of implied, maybe I'm looking too much into it, is that Whis really likes Goku and Vegeta because they inspire Beerus to be a better God of Destruction.
I can see that. I can see Beerus also being... He's shown interest in their situations.
Yes.
So I can see him, kind of just wanting to keep up with them. Because to him, it's still kind of a blip. Like, even their lifetimes are going to be kind of a blip for him. But yeah, so everyone's living on his planet. Broly, Lemo, Chilai, they're all there. And he's like, we already talked about the cringe part. And then Lemo's cooking for him, and he likes that he's a cook, so he keeps him.
They're trying to steal their stuff.
Yeah, Chilai was trying to steal his stuff, which...
Kind of weird. Oh.
Yeah, I don't remember.
What was the logic there? You gotta shove it in the ship? What, like, did they even take a ship there? Like, where are you gonna put that stuff?
I don't remember that really being her. I guess she's a little mischievous.
She's a little roguish.
Yeah.
But that was not well thought out. It was played for a joke for sure.
So apparently they thought that this was the best way to keep Broly safe from Frieza. Yeah. I'm just gonna say it. Frieza could not touch Broly.
I think Frieza, the only way he was able to use Broly was by manipulating him through his dad.
Correct. What? Yeah, as a matter of fact, we've seen Frieza versus Broly, and it was Frieza got his ass beat for over an hour.
Yeah, nah, they just needed an excuse for him to be there, which they could have just been like, yeah, we just use your training.
Yeah, yeah,
it was weird.
Whatever. I think it's to remind the audience that Frieza's alive now.
Maybe
after the Tournament of Power. While the others eat ice cream, Broly watches Goku. They all have a meal, and it's hijinks. And then everyone's eating ice cream, and Broly's watching Goku and Vegeta spar. I like that the rules of their spar is no transformation, no projectiles. It's cool. We get a short sequence, a fight between Goku and Vegeta.
You know what I wish I could have done before we recorded?
What?
I would love to have compared their evil, like original Saiyan Vegeta versus Goku, and compare that to this fight. Because I almost wonder if there were parallels. Because like obviously Vegeta started out on top, looking down on Goku. Obviously, that's obvious. But I'm wondering, like, had they done more? Did you catch anything?
I didn't catch anything other than Vegeta was doing the exact same pose at the exact same angle.
Yes.
From the Saiyan Saga with his arms crossed. No. They may have though. There may have been like some punches that were references and that had the same framing. Yeah. I'm not positive.
I'm sure there's going to be a video out there.
Oh, surely. On Earth, Korn gives Piccolo... So we're back on Earth. Korin gives. That's almost all we see of Goku, Vegeta, and Broly. I think that is a very bold decision. The fact that they didn't market this movie nearly enough, but they made a movie that barely has Goku and Vegeta in it, and I think that's very cool.
I respect it,
especially for Dragon Ball.
Yes, and I wish they did more of that. I'm a fan of the original decision back in the day where Gohan was going to be the main character. It was a theory. It's a theory. It's never really been confirmed, but
I think it's pretty.
Is it
confirmed.
Okay? Well, regardless, I would have loved that to transition more to Gohan being the main character, and I wish we'd do that more. We have so many characters in this universe. We could pair them off, focus on whoever we wanted. It would be entertaining.
I do think there are too many characters. Too many. I don't think Gohan's a good main character. I don't think he ever has been. I think that was why he ended up bringing Goku back. Is because Gohan's not the type of. Goku's so much more reactive. Gohan's not. I don't know.
I hear you.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
but you know.
Yeah.
Piccolo gets a call back. Yeah. So by the way, we can't hear the phone call from Bulma because it's covered by ice cream. His staff.
Well, which is fair. And like I said, they need a reason why they couldn't come. So.
Yep. No, and they have a reason? We're about to have an even better reason why Goku and Vegeta couldn't come. But Piccolo come. You know what I mean. Piccolo gets a call back from Bulma. No luck. They're not going to come. So with few options left to defend the Earth, Piccolo. This is funny because it feels like I want to get lunch. Are any of my friends available? And no one's available. But this is so much more of a big deal than that. This is like a potential Earth-ending situation. But anyway, I already know how you feel about this. Piccolo remembers the Grand Elder Guru having unlocked Gohan and Krillin's potential, flies up to Dende, and asks if he can perform a similar process for him. Dende cannot, he is too young, but he upgrades the Dragon Balls to be able to do so. Upgrades Shenron. Piccolo wonders so it turns out Bulma has the Dragon Balls already, and so he heads to Bulma there.
Why does Shenron need to be upgraded?
I don't know. Why couldn't Dende not have done it? You know what I mean? From a writing perspective, yeah, I'm the same. He is the same type of Namekian.
I can tell you why.
Go ahead. No,
We needed a reason to take out the Dragon Balls so that we could not use them for wishes.
Yeah.
So we needed a reason to call Shenron.
Yeah, but what would they have wished for?
They needed a reason for why Goku and Vegeta did not show up. That was one reason. It eliminates so many plot holes that way. Like, because now you can wish so many things.
It eliminates potential plot complexity, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. But then why did he need to be upgraded? Why could it not have been like
a wish?
You'll just have to go with Shenron instead.
And I thought Shenron could already grant more than one wish anyway.
He could. No, that wasn't the upgrade.
Okay, the upgrade was just the ability
to unlock potential.
And then someone mentioned, I don't remember who it was, like, why don't we just use Shenron? Maybe it was Bulma? I don't know. Why can't we use Shenron to wish away the Red Ribbon Army? And why I feel like is not ever remembered is that Shenron could only affect those weaker than he is, right?
Right.
So he can't wish Frieza to be dead, right?
Right.
So it would be the same thing. Like for their current enemies, like almost everyone's too strong for Shenron.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is why I'm kind of iffy about the fact that he was able to unlock Piccolo's potential.
Well, to be fair, that's a process that he performed. Yeah. It's not like It did say he'd throw in a little extra, but that is
that's I have issues with. But anyway.
But it is just a process that he was able to perform due to the upgrade.
Yeah. But then it's like, what is potential too, right? Like, so all these years that Piccolo have spent training.
The potential was the part of you that you can't unlock just from training. It's what you are capable of, but you will never realize you're capable of.
Yeah, then why did it's just it's such a vague term.
It's
right?
Gohan
had his potential unlocked twice.
It's a plot convenience.
Yes.
At the end of the day.
Yes,
but in universe, it's you wouldn't be able to access this otherwise. No. You are capable of much more. Bulma uses the other two wishes to tune up the ass, which is annoying,
and we already got ass service earlier too.
Yeah, that was weird.
We got ass service, and then she wanted more ass service.
Yeah. And then de-wrinkles her face, which is whatever. And then they're like, oh, we could have just wished Goku and Vegeta back. And I thought that part was really funny.
You know what's funny, too? Is when Piccolo made his wish to unlock his potential. And he said, I'll throw in a little bonus, too. I thought the mirror was the bonus. I'm like, why did this mirror show up?
Yeah. Well, so Piccolo looked a little different at this point.
He did.
Now, if this is the color thing you were referencing, his color was barely different at this point. He was yellowish.
I thought, yes, and I've chalked it up to my viewing method.
I don't know if that is a form, because he goes back to green, and then there's like the in between yellowish, and then of course we got more later on.
Yeah,
but I don't know the distinguishment there.
We'll get back to that. We'll focus more on that.
Carrying on.
We're talking about the wishes.
So Piccolo chastises Bulma, saying, "I wish he would have said something along the lines of, as a Namekian, of like it is disrespectful to use the Dragon Balls for such silly purposes."
It was Dende. I just remembered it was Dende who said, "Why don't we just wish him away?" And he said, "This is the phrase he said. He said that, oh, your Namekian pride won't let you do that, or something." He didn't say Namekian pride, but as a Namekian, you won't want to do that, or something.
I think he just says your pride.
Yep, your pride. I'm sorry. And I wrote down. I was thinking back to saying pride.
Yeah.
And what I thought was funny about that was like, your pride won't let you wish them away, but it will ask for a free boost. It was basically like just eliminating that plot hole again. Like, I think it felt like it was just something to mark off the plot hole.
This boost of his comes from the Namekian Elder, though. At the end of the day, like it's not Shenron, I want more power. It is Shenron, do to me what Elder Guru did to Krillin and Gohan.
And then also Shenron ended up giving him power for free.
I didn't take he gave me a little extra too seriously.
It did a callback to the extra.
Yes, it did. I still didn't take it too seriously. Like, oh wow, yeah, he was right. Like I still largely attribute everything Piccolo in this to his potential being unlocked. I didn't take that too seriously. Because even if, say, Shenron, I don't remember when it was that he was unable to just wish a villain to death when we established that. But say Shenron's...
It was Saiyans. The Vegeta and...
okay.
Raditz.
So I was going to say Shenron, now that he's been upgraded a couple times, maybe he is now more powerful than Piccolo is at this point, so he would be able to grant him a bit of power.
I think the implication was that Shenron's strength was effectively Kami's. More or less.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because the Saiyans were definitely stronger than Kami.
Yes.
So I think that helps solidify and like the limits of Shenron, you know? So that's how I always saw it.
I'm just gonna one I didn't take it too seriously. Two, he was upgraded. You could probably attribute it to that. I don't disagree with you though. Okay. But I just am like, that doesn't bother me personally. Yeah. Piccolo flies back to the Red Ribbon base to get a little more intel, and Magenta. So this is where I was surprised he went back undercover, back to the base.
Mild correction: I completely disrespected Nappa. I said Vegeta and Raditz instead of Vegeta and Nappa.
You did say that.
Yeah, I apologize.
Hey, you can disrespect Nappa. That's okay. Magenta and Carmine devise a plan to lure in Gohan next, so they decide they want to kidnap the daughter. Dr. Hedo has a problem with that because that's not something that superheroes would do.
I just realized something.
What?
Hedo. Hero.
Yeah. that checks out. Yep. Magenta. What was the red? Magenta and red are similar. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Go ahead. Or I'll go ahead. I have the plot. Piccolo is still in the Red Ribbon uniform, so he volunteers to go on the mission to kidnap Pan as he claims to be familiar with her. And they're like, why are you familiar with her? That we haven't shown you a picture of her. A little bit, but he recovered because it is the famous Mr. Satan's granddaughter. By the way, I love when they're planning here. They're kind of going through everybody. They're like, Goku, Vegeta, Majin Buu is in his dormant period. Or whatever. So he's not
eliminating plot holes.
And then which Majin Buu is always, every time they need fighters, he's always sleeping, which is getting a bit obnoxious at this point.
Dude, I would have loved to have seen like Fit Buu actually do something. That would have been so cool.
I know, that's silly. Even to be fair, Majin Buu in the Tournament of Power would have been overpowered because he can heal and restore energy. Yeah. My point was, I love when they're like, and there's still Mr. Satan, and his powers are mysterious, and we don't know how much of a threat he is.
Oh, that was good. I did love that. That's like the few times I liked Mr. Satan. That was a good one.
Yes, I liked it a lot. So Piccolo is paired up with another soldier to go kidnap Pan. They fly a ship to Pan's kindergarten, and they're sitting outside. They're scoping it, and the other soldier goes up to Pan, and he's like, "Oh, your mom sent me here to pick you up," but she's much smarter than that, so she knocks him out immediately with a kick, and then she recognizes Piccolo by his energy, by his ki, and so that's cool. So she's at the point where she's competent enough to like be able to read ki and power levels and so on. And so he's like, "Hey, I just kind of need you to go along with this and pretend like we're kidnapping you. Like this is a kind of a bigger picture type deal."
I want to say I do love this. The fact that like this whole time she was never really in any danger. Like there's only 2/3 characters that could have actually really hurt her realistically.
I agree. And the ones who could have hurt her, besides Cellmax, did not want to.
Is she stronger than Goku when he was taking on Red Ribbon Army?
Oh man, that's hard to say. I would say probably.
I think so.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if she was. Yeah,
which is kind of frustrating because he was what? Was he
15?
Was he 15 at that age?
Yeah, he was 15 for the second World Martial Arts Tournament, so he's between 12 to 15 ish.
Yeah. Anyway.
But no, I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, Piccolo tells her the whole plan.
She is the granddaughter of Mr. Satan after all.
Exactly, she has Satan blood in her veins. So Pan pretends to be scared, and they record a recording of Pan as well, to lure Gohan in. And so Piccolo and the other soldier, they show up at Gohan's house. They deliver the message. So here's what annoys me: he scratches on Gohan's window the same way, so you would think that Gohan would know it was Piccolo. And then second off,
that's why he did it.
Me too. So he wouldn't be like, "Oh, that's Piccolo. Something's going on." And then two, Piccolo even says something about the fact that he doesn't recognize his energy signature. It's like, he should know that it's me.
I also thought he was hiding his energy so that he wouldn't know that so that Gohan wouldn't recognize him, you know?
But I thought he wanted Gohan to recognize him.
Yes, I hear you. I don't know what they were exactly going for there. It's like definitely a blend of contradiction.
I like the characterization here where the guy threatens Gohan with a gun, and Gohan's like, "Look, man, can you just..." Oh, yeah, first off, he flicks the gun out of his hand.
I really don't have time for this, man. Just come on.
I'm studying. I'm writing a research paper. And then they show him the video of Pan crying, and so he flies out of the window. He breaks the windowsill with his hands. He flies out. He goes Super Saiyan.
As a father of a similarly aged child, to see a video of my 3-year-old with a teddy bear saying, "Help me." Oh my God, dude. I would have probably busted a windowsill.
You too would have crushed a windowsill with your bare hands. Yeah, I can't relate to that. I don't have children, but I did like the moment, because if there's one thing to pull Gohan out of his research or whatever, then it would be that.
The danger of others.
Yep. So he flies out, he turns Super Saiyan, he's creating a massive crater right next to his house, and his house topples in, and the guy's like, I'm sorry, please just
Poor
come
guy, man. Like, he's like, this is just easy mission, in and out. Kidnap a child? No, get beaten down. Go tell the dad that his child was successfully kidnapped? Nah, get beaten down.
He does not even realize he's looking death in the eyes. But he's like, Pan's not hurt, just come with us, and so Gohan goes with them. And so they fly the plane there, and I love that as soon as they fly in and Gohan sees where Pan is, he flies out of the plane while the plane is still flying. He just explodes out of it and goes and finds her.
Makes sense. Yep.
Or rushes towards her, gets hit by Gamma 1. So this is where Gamma 1 versus Piccolo starts. Or sorry, Gamma 1 versus Gohan starts. So I thought this was a pretty good fight. I don't know how did you feel about the action with the 3D models and the animation?
It was
and everything?
good. I actually liked it a lot. It got a little too flashy at times, where like
a little bit, yeah,
where it was kind of interrupted the whole scene with like an explosion or a flash of energy. But I actually did enjoy it, and actually the fight between Gohan and Gamma 1 was actually the highlight for me.
Really, I think that was. I wouldn't say it was the highlight for me, but I think it was a really good fight. I was surprised that his ultimate form was still being matched by Gamma 1. So he turns Super Saiyan. Gamma 1's like, we accounted for this. They're still going head to head, and if anything, Gohan's on the ropes. He's losing a bit.
For sure. As explained by Piccolo.
Yes.
Confirmed.
And this is the part where this is before Piccolo's fighting, actually.
Right.
So Piccolo got Pan to act like I thought this was cool.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. Piccolo got Pan to act like she was getting hurt because he's pretending he's a soldier. And so Gohan gets mad enough to turn into his ultimate form.
If they had to redo this movie, I think it would have been kind of cool actually if Piccolo was never actually actively involved, and he was always behind the scenes like that, making her act, moving certain characters around more, like keeping them separated like he did. I don't know. I think it would have been cooler that way. But anyway.
I liked that he was involved.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, I think we're about to have a very different opinion about something.
Here we go.
I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, so Gohan's now in his ultimate form,
Yep.
which he used most recently in the Tournament of Power. And then, oh yeah, so Piccolo was surprised that the Gammas were like, "Hey, don't hurt the kid. We don't hurt kids." And it's like, okay.
Are you guys stupid?
You kidnapped the kid.
her. What the hell?
Right? So, sorry, Potential Unleashed. So I think Ultimate's technically...
I prefer Mystic Gohan.
Mystic is a fan name. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
I think Ultimate's the official name. Yeah. So Gamma 2 is ordered into the fight as backup because Gamma 1 is now starting to lose to Ultimate-ish. But Piccolo intervenes to stop him. So this is where Piccolo is getting beat again, quite badly.
Minor gripe.
Go ahead.
I wish the fight between Gohan and Gamma 1 went longer. I felt like it was too short. And like I was really feeling it. Like I was really rustling my jimmies, if you know what I'm saying.
I do.
And I just felt like it was a little too short. Like I feel like you were winding up, and we didn't hit the climax before we just went down.
You know what I think? I think that about every single one of these fights. I think the Gamma 1 fight was too short. I think Piccolo's fight with Gamma 2 was too short. And I think the Cell Max fight was too short.
Aren't you glad that we had... What? What was that last bit?
The Cell Max fight? I thought it was too short. Yeah.
No, dude. That was easily like 20 minutes too long. I wish they... I wish Max Cell was completely like removed from the movie. Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. I think but...
Okay. Maybe not too short, but I think it could have been handled better.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Because I'm sorry, I'm a little emotional here, just only because of the degree of which I hated Max Cell. I hated that character. It was worse than even like... Harkening back to the original Broly movies, not the latest one. Gotta say, I was not a fan of like Broly as a whole because he's just a screaming Hulk monster. Well, the first Broly movie was okay. Yeah, it was okay.
Okay. But point being, you like your villains to have personality.
A little bit, yeah. But dude, oh my god, dude, Max Cell was just... I wish they took the time, at least half the time for Max Cell and put it into the Gohan, the Gamma 1 fight.
I would have liked to see more Gohan versus Gamma 1. But anyway, Piccolo is basically getting his ass beat by Gamma 2.
Again.
Yeah. He falls down into this very dark alley and remembers Shenron's words, and a sigil alights on his back.
Strange.
His skin turns orange. Mm-hmm. His antennae stand on end, and we see this huge burst of energy. The music swells, and he very slowly rises out looking orange, much bigger, much more intimidating looking in general.
Just bulky.
Bulky, very bulky, which I like some bulk on my Dragon Ball characters, and tanks everything from Gamma 2 at that point. He punches him really hard one time, does nothing, and then a bunch of really fast punches, does absolutely nothing, and then with one punch, he takes out Gamma 2. One strong looking punch.
Is this the part? I'm curious. Is this?
I really liked this transformation.
You're right. No, absolutely not. No way. The degree of which he got this power boost from Shenron, specifically from Shenron. That was my interpretation. Not an unlocked potential.
It is an unlocked potential. Oh, you're saying because the little extra thrown in?
Yes.
It's a little extra thrown in.
A little extra? A little extra? That's like. Do you realize if they are actually as strong as Goku and Vegeta, right? Which I'm assuming they're stronger than they were at the Tournament of Power because it's been years, a couple years. So a little extra to go from like Tournament of Power Piccolo to tanking Vegeta / Goku sized punches.
Yeah, you are taking this little extra thing way too. His potential was unlocked. You have no idea, Piccolo as a warrior, how much potential was unlocked.
But they're playing it as a Super Saiyan transformation.
Yes, that is true.
Which means that. I guess as a Super Saiyan, like when you unlock Super Saiyans during your time of need, unless you're some kind of 5-year-old child. But
besides that,
to me, there was no indication that Namekians transform like to this degree.
That is true.
And we get the little bit extra verbiage thrown, like
he does mention
here's my little bit extra. To me, this did not feel like a natural transformation. This felt like a gift from a wishing, like a dragon that grants wishes, like extra power, unlimited power. Like this is what Frieza would have gotten had he got his wish from.
No, he was wishing to be immortal, not stronger. But I
Fair
get
enough.
what your
All right,
point
that's
is.
Garlic. Then it's Garlic Jr. Exactly. That's exactly what happened to Garlic Jr.
Filler doesn't count. I get what you're saying. I don't listen. Me, as much as the next guy, I would prefer to this to have been attributed to some form of, first off, years of training or some type of technique that he developed that he didn't realize was possible, but in maybe inside his mind, he's consulting with Kami and he tells them about these ancient warriors who were capable. I don't know, but I don't love when characters. And what's funny is this is a very minor thing, but this is an issue I have with a certain part of an arc of the manga too that you haven't read. Something basically, there's a similar situation, and I don't love it there either. I don't love that, but as a transformation, okay. How do you like the design? Do you like it?
No.
So I really like the design too.
I do prefer it to getting like super slim. So.
Well, yes. So aside from the bulk, I don't think it's any secret to anybody. The reason he turns orange is because he doesn't have hair that can change color. I do think that is probably the case.
His antenna could have got bigger.
I think they actually got smaller.
I think they did too. Yeah.
But anyway, I really like the form's appearance. I do think it's well designed. I like that it's bulkier. I like that Piccolo is getting something at all. You know, why is it only the Saiyan characters that can get transformations and power boosts? I think it's cool that a Namekian gets to as well, especially as a longtime Piccolo fan who hasn't been able to do anything in forever. But no, I don't love the Shenron thing. I think that's a very fair complaint. I just think that it bothers you, then it's going to bother most people.
I think for me, I'm like more of a stickler for world rules, and everything, all the issues I have feel like they're breaking some kind of rule that's been established.
Next, so he beats Gamma 2.
The end.
Pan, meanwhile, begins plowing through Red Ribbon soldiers, with Magenta and Carmine seeing the Gammas losing their advantage. They start to retreat. They're threatened by Pan, not Pam. Wow, I'm really having a hard time.
That's okay.
So Carmine fires a gun at her, and Pan's dodging all of the shots. I like that she's not instantly dodging all the shots. You actually see her moving. There's a lot of special detail and attention to the animation in this that I really appreciate. That there's just a lot of care put into the animation, even though I don't love the 3D.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just to emphasize your point, like that, I thought I would have more problems with the CGI, and I actually really didn't.
Me too. Outraged at Carmine's actions, the Gammas finally realize they've been had. They have been. So this whole time, by the way, Piccolo's talking to them, being like, "We're not the bad guys; they're the bad guys," so on. So they finally have changed. They've had a change of heart. So Piccolo powers back down. Gohan stops fighting. Everyone's kind of like, "What's going on here?" Magenta slips away, and Dr. Hedo heads after him. So we think the battle's over at this point. Did you think the battle was over? So you thought at this point still you thought the Cell Max would not happen?
Right. Let me think. At that point, yes, I still had some kind of hope that the androids would be absorbed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is this the point where everyone shows up, like the entire cast?
Yes. So the battle's seemingly over. Everyone regroups. Now the Gammas are in tow. Bulma arrives.
And this is where, when Android 17 showed up, I was hoping, again, back to what
18,
I said.
but yes.
I'm sorry, yes, 18. I was hoping that they would have some kind of discussion. Hey, you're an android too.
I feel like she barely acknowledged that it was Cell. Like she had one line where it was like, "Oh, it's Cell."
And
like
18 did nothing.
18 did not. I don't. Her and Krillin being there was very unnecessary.
I agreed.
Krillin, by the way, looked tinier than ever in this movie.
Yep.
That was kind of annoying.
And once again, like he did play a little role. I take it back. He actually played more of a role in the Cell fight than 18 did.
Yes. That's because 18 was functionally dead during the Cell fight. Trunks and Goten are there too. I'm glad to see them just because I'm glad to see that they're finally aged up.
I agree.
I am so glad they are finally, after seeing them in the Broly movie as tiny children still.
Yes.
I'm very glad by that.
I was hoping for more competency out of them, but
it's in character.
Yes, I won't disagree with that, especially like if you look at how they were treated in GT.
Oh gosh.
Oh, Goten anyway.
It was in character. Yeah, they haven't fused in a while. Later on, spoiler alert, their fusion fails, and Surprisingly, this is the first time ever that a failed fusion was not exclusively played off as a gag, and they actually had to work with it.
That's Piccolo quote right there.
Also, yeah, he was like, "This is the first time of." Well, I'm using Piccolo's English voice as if I heard the Japanese voice, but anyway. So they're all surprised, and yeah, they're like, "Wow, you've grown." I think that's to tell people like, yes, that is Trunks and Goten, just so you know, like the same ones that were kids in the last movie.
I do appreciate that Goten did not. They kept his hair from. Well, they didn't keep it as Goku's hair, and because I think they recognize that it's way too similar. There's not enough. Yeah.
I really like that too. Yeah, same with GT. It's not the exact same haircut as GT. Yeah. Well, if you remember in the end of Z Time Skip, I think that's the hairstyle he has.
I have to look.
Because him and Trunks are aged up in the end of Z Time Skip. But I think it's the same hair. So we're getting very close to that point, by the way. Because this is in Super, in the anime of Super, it's a 10-year time skip. And all of Super takes place in that time skip. So we've had like 5 years to the middle. The manga has happened. That's a couple years. This takes place after that. So we're getting very, very close to the end of that 10-year gap.
I'm nervous. When we have time skips like this, I am nervous that they're going to do something in the manga where when they have specifically about the big time skips where they do this, I'm nervous where they're going to release something in the manga where now this whole plot doesn't even make sense anymore. Like let's just say that Pan ends up having another sibling, right? And now it's like, well, where does this movie fit? You know, or like some other major plot
we're actually eliminating a time skip if you think about it.
We're filling the gaps. Is what you're saying.
Yeah. So like that can't happen.
Because like again, so where we're at in the manga, there's still time.
There's like a year or two.
So at
this point, there's
the next arc after the current arc. What's going to happen, right? So what if something happens in this next arc and we're not at that time yet, and now this entire movie is like just a waste of time?
People have speculated for a very long time, for one, that the end of Dragon Ball Z is going to be retconned.
The Boo?
No, the tournament with Oob.
Yes, I said. What did I say?
Boo.
I did say Boo. Yeah, with Oob.
Not retconned in the sense that Oob won't exist anymore, but retconned in the sense that, like, for example, Bulma tells Goku, "Oh, I haven't seen you in years."
Right.
Clearly, that's not the case anymore.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Yep.
So we will see, but we're getting very close to the point where we're going to be beyond that time skip being over, and so it's going to be completely into fresh territory. So it's going to basically, they're going to have to work with, okay, now Goku's going to train Oob. Where do we go from here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think Super's going to end, because I don't think Super's going to end for a very long time. So they're going to have to work with that. Anyway, I hate this moment where Gohan asks Piccolo about the new form, and Piccolo's like, well, Shenron was quite generous with his bonus. Yeah. And so Gohan asks him to give it a name, and he says Orange Piccolo. Could have come up with a better name.
Could have gone with Super Piccolo. I don't know.
Anything other than Orange Piccolo, I think, would have been better.
I mean, Super Namekian, that is a non-canon term that was used in one of the movies.
Yeah, is that Lord Slug? I haven't seen that. I haven't even seen that.
Yep.
Inside the base, so we're getting close to the end of the movie.
They also became very large.
True. Inside the base, Magenta prepares to awaken Cell Max. Dr. Hedo tries to stop him. Magenta shoots him. Oh no, I forgot. I forgot you said that your skin is stronger. And then he gets stung by the bee wasp.
Chekhov's gun has been fired.
It has been fired. So Magenta slowly he takes his shirt off, and he's also a robot, I guess.
The way I'm playing it off is that he had some other scientist on the side augment him. That's how I'm playing. That's how I'm thinking it. But
there's no real point to it, but whatever. He dies. But right before he dies,
you're bulletproof. So am I.
Right before he dies, he does end up unleashing Cell Max.
Can you give us a Cell Max birthing cry?
Ah!
Pain, nothing but pain.
Sorry for audio listeners. What's funny? At this point, I do not normally like enemies that are very large and like everyone has to fight them at once, like the one from the one movie, Wrath of the Dragon, maybe.
Probably.
I don't love the one that's in the Tournament of Power, if you remember.
I do.
Where they all fuse together or whatever.
No.
But I love this because it is everyone was expecting a Resurrection F style Resurrection of Cell. This instead is an abomination. It is a monster. It is very strong. I love that his tail is like a Ankylosaurus tail. I thought that was super cool.
No, dude. Okay, sorry.
It's
Your opinion is valid.
All right. So you have to realize this is a modification.
Yes.
Based on the blueprint.
This
is not the same cell.
Correct.
Okay. I'm just glad you realized.
I understand.
Okay.
It harkens back to, I think it would have been a better plot if they had to absorb Gammas.
I'm working with what we have.
Okay.
So we
have crap.
Everyone's talking and happy and yay, we won the fight, but no, they did not. He breaks free, the sky darkens, and Cellmax, a giant red and green creature resembling second form Cell, which is surprising.
Yes.
Very surprising.
Which is, again, like, I was like, oh, maybe they are getting absorbed because now he's going to become perfect.
Right. Perfect Cellmax.
Yeah.
I bet you there's a script where he did. I bet you almost anything because it's just it's too perfect. It sets itself up perfectly.
Yep.
I completely agree with you there. But yeah, resembling second form Cell, explodes from below. His cries of agony, his size, his might, to me was impressive. I liked the effects around it. It felt like a legitimate threat. I was pleased in general. I didn't necessarily want just like perfect Cell again. As much Cell's my favorite villain, but to me, especially when you have 15 minutes left and 20 minutes left in a movie, they wouldn't have been able to do it right.
I agree.
So I like this as a substitute. And I love the reference. So Piccolo tosses a sensu bean to Gohan. I love the reference to the Majin Buu arc where he drops it. So just like the Patara earring, if you remember.
Oh, I remember.
So it's just like that. He drops it. I thought it was super funny. Some people probably will not because he doesn't have his glasses on. So
I think Piccolo even said at the end, like, does your vision like get better as you fight? Or?
With the transformations, yeah. So Piccolo and Gohan are tired from their previous battle, only capable of going Super Saiyan, Gohan is, and charge into combat against Cellmax. Krillin stays back with Pan and Bulma. So we get the Cellmax fight. It's everyone versus Cellmax. Like I said, I thought it was cool. So I thought it was cool how his spots came up and they would shoot out beams. His tail was like an Ankylosaurus tail that he was hitting people with, and it was like really hurting them.
I thought the Ankylosaurus tail was such a weird design choice. Like, why? That's so weird.
I guess to make his tail functional in a non-absorbing way. I thought it looked cool. I didn't think that much about it.
Interesting.
I loved that it shot out beams. I thought it was cool. We have different standards.
Yeah, we do.
When it comes to, there doesn't always have to be an answer for stuff like that.
I suppose it's nice when it does. When there is though.
They are revealed that he has a secret weakness that no one would ever have guessed. No one ever would have aimed for his head.
Fun fact: I shared the same weakness.
Me too. So they have to penetrate his head to kill him, and when they do, he will explode so big that everyone will die, except no, because when he does explode, it doesn't even destroy the Earth, even though when Cell was going to explode in the Cell Saga,
I'm glad you had that same thought.
It was going to destroy the Earth.
I'm glad you had that same thought. I did appreciate the fact they referenced it'll destroy every cell in his body.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah. Now that you mentioned that, that's a good point. So at this point, we get the weakness. Piccolo charges up a special beam cannon, shoots it to his head. He shrugs it off completely. And then Goten and Trunks attempt to fuse. But do you have a comment before that?
No.
Okay. So they attempt to fuse. For the first time ever, I like that they failed to fuse.
I was pleasantly surprised to see that they fused, actually. Like, I was not expecting it. I was kind of looking forward to see what Goten would do. But I do appreciate that they did fuse.
I am not surprised because that is the only thing they ever do.
Fair. One thing, I guess I kind of disagree with you too. I would have liked to see a Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks.
As a teen?
Yeah, as a teen, and just show how much stronger, like, either Gohan or... I'm not sure if Piccolo is at this point. Well, at this point, he's definitely stronger
I think Orange Piccolo is stronger than Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah, no question.
There's no question there.
Yeah, but so it just would have been cool to see, just to belittle Super Saiyan 3 even more, I guess. But that would have been cool. But
I am disappointed that we never saw Gohan do Super Saiyan 2 in this movie.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't done... Did he do Super Saiyan 2 in Super? Not in the Tournament of Power. Absolutely not. He didn't.
No, he
saved
definitely
Mystic.
did Super Saiyan. I don't know that he did Super Saiyan 2
Yeah.
off the top of my head. Anyway, Goten and Trunks attempt to fuse. They slip up, which I like because they obviously haven't done it
Sorry,
in
real
years.
quick. Back to Super Saiyan 2 for a second. We do know that Super Saiyan 2 does take more energy. It's not like the perfect form of Super Saiyan.
Mm-mm.
It's been mentioned. Like Super Saiyan 3 takes even more. So
Super
that might
Saiyan
be
2 is a power increase and speed increase without taking more energy, I thought. I mean, it takes more energy because it's stronger, but it's not like an energy sink like Super Saiyan 3 is.
Regardless, sorry.
Because all throughout the Androids arc, they're trying to find a Super Saiyan ascended level that does not just drain them and slow them down. I don't know. You may be right. Regardless, his ultimate form probably drains more energy than both, so we don't really know.
Don't really know.
So we get Fat Gotenks, and Fat Gotenks is around for the entire fight, which I'm surprised
Still
by.
doing his thing as the comedic relief, but actually serving a purpose.
Attempts to go Super Saiyan, fails.
Yeah, we knew.
Which he gets pinball. You know, everyone's throwing punches and beams at Cell.
I like that he's not strong enough to go Super Saiyan, but is strong enough to easily tank all these hits.
Yeah, it's because he's rotund.
Yeah.
After being pinballed around from Cell Max to several other characters, he headbutts. So yeah, he gets literally Cell hits him and he just goes flying, and then everyone hits him like a beach ball, and then eventually he gets hit straight down towards Cell Max, and his head hits his head, and it actually cracks it. And so he Piccolo says, "Wow, a failed fusion has served a purpose for the first time ever."
Backhand compliment.
So Gamma 2, he decides his plan is to sacrifice himself. Delivering the final blow. Gather all his energy from above, dive through Cell Max, finish it off. But he didn't. But he did die. With the cooperation of the rest of the team, Cell Max is put in a position for the charged up Gamma 2 to strike, but he's blocked by the last second by Cell's arm, and his arm does break off, surprisingly permanently.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to regenerate.
Same. What was interesting too, did you notice he was like turning to stone almost as the movie went on?
The whiteness
and stiffness. It became stiff.
I'm not sure what that was all about.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about, but Cell's put in a position, like I said, he blocked to escape the resulting explosion. Oh yeah, so Cell gets super mad at this point because his arm got blasted off, essentially.
I think Cell is like just mad the whole movie. Like, I'm just angry at being born. I'm angry I'm in the situation.
He is a complete abomination. I know you hated it. I actually really I thought the fight versus him was not only very entertaining, I thought him as a abomination of a villain was really entertaining too, and I think it's the best thing they could have done with the time that they had, lest it be a 2.5 hour long
I think
movie.
that just lends to itself to poor planning, though. I mean, yeah, right. They didn't have enough time, but then should they have done it that way? Then
I mean that's valid. But I really kind of like what we got. I've seen a lot of hate for Cell Max. You're not the only one.
Okay, cool.
And the only reason I've seen that is because people post spoilers way before they should.
True. Very true.
I've been really frustrated with that this week. Side note.
Try to keep spoilers out of the comments, please.
Yeah, well. To escape the resulting explosion, because Cell goes berserk and starts shooting blasts everywhere, and everyone has to dodge these like huge lightsaber blasts. Pan is running away. It looks like she's going to get caught in the blast, but she does end up being able to fly away. Someone says, "Pan, fly," and then she flies. Everything with Pan was perfect. I loved Pan in this movie. She was a treat.
Sure. She was.
Cell Max is even more enraged now. He tries to stomp the unconscious Hedo and Gamma 2's lifeless bodies, but Piccolo returns to orange Piccolo form, holds up Cell Max's foot. I just like this form. Yeah, your complaints are valid. I like how strong it feels, like how bulky it feels.
Oh, no, for sure. It is satisfying to watch, for sure. Mm-hmm. There's definitely, like, watching it with all the bullets and stuff bounce off him. Stuff. I'm not going to lie and sit there and say, I hated it. No, that was cool. That was definitely cool.
For sure. So yeah, he's holding up Cell's foot just barely,
reinforcing that they are heroes to the androids.
Yeah, good call. Reinforcing that they're heroes. Krillin reminds him of his. So yeah, Krillin. I think he comes in and grabs them.
What's it?
Krillin.
I don't remember who grabs them.
Regardless, maybe it was Gamma 1. Krillin he goes up to Piccolo and he's like, "Hey, turn big like you did in the 23rd martial arts tournament." I like the reference. I like that they show it too, but I don't like that Piccolo was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot."
You forgot.
I wish he would have just been like, "That's a good idea, Krillin."
Did you forget that your limbs grow back? I don't know, man. How do you forget something like that? Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit silly, but really, they're probably assuming that 90% of the audience has not seen that.
True.
Which, that's probably true.
That's fair. But I don't know. That's almost worse in a way. I don't know. What I did like was that he did confirm that, no, I don't actually get stronger when I get big. And in my mind, I think the reason they did that was you get better choreography when they're the same size.
I agree.
Realistically, you're just watching these guys zip around, pop, or like do the chi blast to them, and it's not too interesting for too long.
That's exactly why I don't normally like a giant villain or a giant, enemy.
With the exception of Candy Vegito.
Oh yeah, Vegito Candy.
Vegito.
Yeah, but I actually hate that. I hated that episode even when I was a kid. I think it's very stupid. Anyway, which we haven't even talked about it on Dragon Ball Speak yet. So
have you gotten? Yeah,
that's
I was about to
that's
say.
a sneak preview. No, we're probably 15, 20 episodes away from that.
Okay.
Dragon Ball Z episodes, not Dragon Ball Speak episodes. Piccolo became a giant, but he still struggles against Cell Max. I will say it did lend itself to much better choreography when it came to Cell Max versus Orange Piccolo. Really satisfying. The weight behind their blows and just like the feeling the not thematically. What is the word I'm looking for? Like just the mood of the scene, like with the lighting and everything. I think
Ambiance.
Sure, it all was good. The music throughout the movie I thought was really good too.
Yeah.
So Piccolo puts his hopes in Gohan. He says, "I'm gonna hold Cell Max in place long enough for you to get in one full power attack."
I immediately got the call back. Did you?
Oh, Raditz.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, so he says he's gonna hold Cell Max in place for long enough for Gohan to get in one full power attack, do a Kamehameha or whatever is what he says.
Or whatever. I'm like, that threw me off too. Like, why do you say or whatever? Like, it was a setup.
It was a setup. He offers Gohan the last senzu bean. Gohan takes it, engages in an uphill battle with support from the others, getting his ass beat by Cell Max.
It was really no contest.
It was not pretty.
Yeah. Lost his arm.
Yeah, he lost his arm, which Piccolo always loses an arm, but this one was particularly gruesome. And
didn't have time to regenerate.
Everyone else is getting hit, and they're getting beat down. It was reminiscent of Cell Juniors, Cell and Cell Juniors, which was very intentional, as we're about to find out. As Gohan is sitting there charging up, Cell manages an attack. Cell Max manages an attack that seems as if it killed Piccolo. I was not sold for a second that Piccolo. First off, he does a back-breaking move on him. Second off, he throws him in the air and he gets him, and yeah, he looks like he's dead. His pupils are out.
Yeah, I get frustrated by that. I feel like pupils gone, dead. You shouldn't have to question it.
Anyone who knows me knows that if there's one thing I hate, it's a fake-out death. Mm-hmm. I hate fake-out deaths so much. But this one I wouldn't even consider a fake-out death because I was never even sold on the fact that he was dead.
I know they wouldn't kill Piccolo in a movie. Like, it's...
yeah.
Even if it's in the future where there's no other arcs, that's not. You don't do that.
So Gohan believes that Piccolo has died. We get a very obvious homage to him fighting Cell, where we have the snap, the red expands. He yells, and it causes Gohan to awaken past his potential unleashed form into a new form with white hair and red irises.
Yes, I was confused. This is not Ultra Instinct.
No.
Yeah.
No, this is not Ultra Instinct. This is a Gohan exclusive form.
This actually reminds me of like some fan art way back in the day, Super Saiyan 5. Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm. That's from Dragon Ball AF. Yeah. So
I feel like one of the illustrators for that actually got hired as an illustrator.
I think Toyotaro was the.
Yeah. I don't know if he did Super Saiyan 5. Anyway, regardless, I thought new form is very interesting. I thought. Like I said, I was confused about, like, is this Ultra Instinct? Doesn't look like Ultra Instinct, but it kind of is with the white hair. And
Ultra Instinct is silver hair.
Yeah. Again, my colors might have been a little off. So
his hair was white, and he had red irises. Ultra Instinct has the silver eyes. How do you feel about this? So I'll go first this time. I didn't like this as much as Orange Piccolo. Not because I didn't think it was cool, because it's incredibly cool. But to me, it relied a little too much on wanting you to feel like it was like another Android 16 death and then Gohan becomes Super Saiyan 2 moment. Especially with the visual callback, where to me the stakes were not quite that high, and to me it was obvious that Piccolo was not actually dead. The form itself looks incredibly cool. the fact alone that it's a Gohan quote unquote exclusive form, I don't mind because Gohan's ultimate form is exclusive to him. And I would like to think once more that this is some sort of combination, some sort of, maybe not even combination, some sort of continuation of him leaning more into that human side of things. You know, he is a hybrid after all, so it's possible that he's capable of different things than the others. I have no problem with all that. As far as the design goes, I love the design of the form. The hair is ridiculously large, but I think it's in a good way. I like that it's white. I think it's cool. I like that the eyes are red. By the way, officially this form is called Gohan Beast. They don't say it in the movie, but that's what it's called. I hope this is not the only time we see this. I hope that we see this again in the future. You never really know when it comes to movies. But I would like to see where this goes in the future because we really barely got to see it here.
Technically, we could still see it, like even before this time. It never really said that this was the first time he's in that form.
I think it's very heavily implied this is the first time that he has had this form. Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if it is the first time. But at the same time, I would be okay if we've seen it earlier.
We would know. No, there's no way.
Yeah, okay. Because, I mean, this whole movie, Piccolo's been alluding to the fact that you could be stronger. He could be stronger than anyone.
Anyone, yeah. So no, this is the first time. I'm pretty confident on that.
I'm open.
Yeah. But we get what is then my favorite part. I love that Gohan ended up charging up and using a special beam cannon or a Makanka Sapo. The first time he's ever used it, it's Piccolo's signature move. I.e., now that he has used it, I wonder why he's never used it before. It's super cool that he did. Of course, Piccolo being Gohan's teacher for the majority of for all of his initial training, and then for several times after that. I loved that. I skipped ahead, but right before this, sorry, he transforms first. I kind of skipped ahead because I got excited. Gohan transforms. Yeah. And then Cell Max punches Gohan, and it's really, really cool because all the energy and the dust flies back behind him. But even though Cell Max is massive and Gohan is normal sized, he literally did not even flinch.
That was a cool illustration. Like just watching that, like just this immovable object coming at you, and you just.
Yeah, like absolutely no reaction whatsoever, which I'm a sucker for that in the first place. But it's definitely emphasized by the fact that Cell Max has been shown to be such a threat, and his sheer size, like all of that combined, made it a really, really cool moment. And then Cell Max starts charging a massive ball of energy, and he collapses. Then I love how big it got. It's like almost the size of Earth.
What was actually really cool too was the weather cleared for Gohan's transformation. Like he.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, it was like super overcast and just sunshine.
I did not even notice that. Nope. I was too in the moment. So then that giant ball of energy collapses into a concentrated attack. Piccolo recovers. Surprise, he's not dead. Holds Cell Max in place. He stretches his arms out and wraps them around him. Yep. And I thought we were about to get an even more of a Raditz callback. I did get the Raditz callback, but I thought that he was going to have to go through Piccolo as well. Like you said, Piccolo's not going to die in a movie, so he's holding him in place, and then Gohan performs the special beam cannon, goes through Cell Max's head, and his attack, and then Cell Max falls to the ground and explodes. Very small blast, all things considered.
He did swell up like the original Cell, which is nice.
He did get all big and nasty. Yeah, I guess this one doesn't have the lump in the head. It seemed like this one didn't have the regenerative powers anyway. It may not have had Piccolo's DNA.
We know that he wasn't finished, but it was only the programming that wasn't finished.
Yeah, but his brain obviously wasn't finished either. Like he was a monster.
Right, because he was the programming. The monster, as much as I hated it, I understood. Like the programming wasn't done, right?
Yeah.
The body definitely didn't seem finished either, though.
Yeah, you're right. Because like we said, he didn't regenerate, and he had that stone thing happening. And that's really it as far as action goes. For aftermath-wise, Pan runs up to Gohan. Piccolo reverts to normal. So does Gohan. We get to see a little bit more of the form before he powers down. It's so freaking cool looking. I really like it.
I do like that shot of them standing next to each other. Piccolo being orange. What was it? What was the term?
Beast.
There
was another name for it first, but then they changed it to Beast. I don't remember what it was.
I wonder if that's going to be an allusion to Ozaru or something.
Like Ozaru or just, I don't know. Gohan and Pan, they embrace, they all hug. Gohan says that even if Goku and Vegeta had been around, they may not have been able to defeat Cell Max, which this takes place after the manga, obviously. So we got Super, and then the manga is continuing, and everyone's getting stronger still, and then we have this movie, and it's like, I don't know about all that, but
yeah, I don't know much about the next manga arc, or the current manga arc, I should say, but I do think I heard that Goku gets better at Ultra Instinct, which would imply that Goku could not take this guy on with Ultra Instinct. I don't know. Which then also further implies that this Beast Gohan is like stronger than Ultra Instinct. Strange.
Hopefully we get a little more clarification on that, because who knows? But yes,
I don't think we're gonna get it.
yeah, who knows? I do think, yeah, like with all that, with Goku doing having Ultra Instinct and working on that. Now Gohan has this, Piccolo has this. Now we're training Broly, so we're hopefully going to get a controlled Broly in the future. Frieza's still alive, so Frieza's popping up here or there. There's just a lot happening right now, and I do wonder, we're getting to the point where a lot of characters have exclusive forms that almost feel like the pinnacle of their characters. Like maybe they may not unlock a form past what they have. Like, I don't see Gohan going past this ever. Like, how, I guess this has been asked before, I'm sure, like even with his ultimate form, but like I don't see how you could do this and then do something even more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we'll see. You know, you got to sell toys and you got to have movies.
What's gonna happen is that a couple years of peace are gonna go by, and Gohan completely forgot how to get.
He'll lose his fighting instinct. Hopefully, he regains his fighting instinct. That's what they always say. So anyway, Gamma 2 dies. Yeah, Piccolo rubs it in Gohan's face. Like, this is why you stay prepared. I think we're supposed to care when Gamma 2 dies. I cared very little.
Yeah,
for obvious reasons.
Same.
Piccolo states that in the end, Gamma 2 really was a superhero. I guess he did give his life to the cause.
Yeah. I mean, they were good guys in the end.
Yeah,
specifically the androids. I mean, I think Hedo was arguably not a good guy because you're being manipulated, but you're just so excited to take the money anyway.
Right.
I definitely a chaotic, maybe not chaotic neutral, but definitely neutral.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
But he is repentant of his actions. He knows that he was being used and chose not to care, offers to hand himself over to the police, but Bulma ends up offering them jobs as cosmetic research for Bulma's cosmetics. It's like, I'm so tired of this bit. I didn't even really like this bit in Broly, the movie, whenever she was wishing to be 5 years younger.
Oh, dude, when they said that Bulma was going out and just making sure the Dragon Balls weren't going to be used for evil,
I know. And finally, Pan happily flies around everyone. I loved this final closing shot of like every character, and then we see Goten and Trunks fuse. We don't get to see the fusion, which feels intentional.
That feels weird, yeah.
It feels like they don't want us to see what Teen Gotenks looks like yet for some reason.
I don't think they actually fused in that shot, in that moment. They just did it for some reason.
No, it flashed light.
Did it?
Yep.
Okay. But then...
Here's what it really is. They did not have a model for Teen Gotenks.
You know what? Yeah, that might be true.
You know what's funny? Never mind. In the beginning, they show a model of like some just like side NPC basically that's like driving in front of Dr. Hedo, and I'm like, I'm surprised they fully modeled out a character just to be driving in front of Dr. Hedo, and that model later ended up being Pan's preschool teacher.
Did it?
Yeah.
I wonder if that was intentional.
I'm sure
it was just like, hey, we got to put someone in there.
Yeah, I don't know, one or the other. But yeah, she flies happily around. We get to see all the characters happy. And then, did you see the post-credit scene?
Yes.
Okay.
Vegeta can't ever win, man.
Vegeta won.
Is that your interpretation?
Yeah.
No.
He won.
That's not my interpretation.
There is no interpretation.
The interpretation I got, so they collapse. Let me rephrase that. Goku collapses. Like, oh, I lost. Collapse. Vegeta's like, yes, I finally won. He collapses. Cut to Goku's face, and he smirks.
Yes.
I don't think he actually lost.
Yeah.
I think they could have kept going.
I see what you're saying. Yes, I did wonder. I did wonder.
I can see both ways. My personal opinion is that he seems like he was faking it. Like, you gave him the win.
Yeah. That's in some ways unlike him, but also in other ways something he would do. Yeah. So I could see either way for sure. But Goku is the first one to topple over, so technically Vegeta wins. Beerus is asleep. Chi-Lai is happy. Lemo and Broly have been moved to tears because they loved watching the fight, and that is the end of the movie. Yippee. I thoroughly enjoyed watching the movie as a whole. I liked Cell Max. I liked the Gammas enough. I liked the Gammas more than I... Sorry, you seem like you're itching to say something. No? Okay, I didn't want to interrupt you.
Finish. I would be interrupting you.
I liked the Gammas more than I thought I would. I liked the animation a lot more than I thought I would. In fact, in some parts, I was like, this animation is incredibly pretty looking right now, and I'm very impressed with that. I don't want them to stick with it for future movies, but it was a cool experiment, and I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I love the character. I love the treatment of Gohan's character. I thought it was and Piccolo. As a matter of fact, I thought they were both very in character the whole time. And it's a character dynamic I love to see, so I loved seeing more of it. I loved that they had the balls not to have Goku and Vegeta on the poster, barely in the trailers, much less at the forefront of the movie. They're there barely, and it's really just to tell us that, hey, just so you know, they're training Broly, so when we want to use him in the future, we can. As a whole, I enjoyed the movie a lot. As a self-contained movie, structurally, I think it is a better movie than Broly. However, I like the Broly movie way better because I like the animation better. I do like the plot better because I like the Bardock stuff enough. And then I like the fight with, I love Gogeta versus Broly. And really, every fight in that movie is just so artistic. I just love to watch it. It's more of an eye candy movie, but as a whole, I do prefer that movie. But as far as this one goes, I'm really pleased. I'm a very picky, meticulous person when it comes to my TV/movie. For those of you who don't know, it is very rare for Ryan to like a movie.
Yeah,
or show.
And I realize a lot of my feedback is negative, but I don't want to belittle the fact that, or ignore the fact that it was actually a really good intro. Actually did thoroughly enjoy that bit up until Cell Max. 100% agree with you with the animation. I wouldn't mind if they stuck with the CGI. Although I would miss the hand drawn for sure. So I could take it or leave it. Doesn't matter to me because they sold me that. They showed me they can do a good job if they have the budget and time to do it. So I'm okay with it.
Which, by the way, budget-wise, the 3D is more expensive to do than the 2D. I've read.
Okay. Well, regardless, I thought, like you said, everything was great there. It was better. It was a better story organization. I want to rate it. If I could split it into 2 ratings, overall movie, I would say 5 out of 7. 5 out of 7 stars. And if I could eliminate Cell Max entirely, I think I would have actually given it a little bit longer on the Gohan and Gammas. I would have given it a 6 out of 7. If I had just stopped right before Cell Max came around, I would have given it a 6 out of 7.
I think I'm willing. Yeah, but what do you give the movie? The whole movie is 5 out of 7. 5 out of 7. I give it a 6 out of 7. I give it a 6 out, which I'm quite surprised that you're 5 out of 7. Your 5 out of 7 is like my 7 out of 7. So I'm pretty surprised by that. In a good way. I really am glad you enjoyed it. I wish you could have seen it in the theater. The Dolby experience was really good because every punch you could feel that the seats were moving, the sound was nice and loud. It was really a good experience. But it is what it is. We do not condone pirating, guys.
I bought a ticket. I did actually buy a ticket. So
that is true. The seat was empty. In fact, the whole theater was empty. I was one of maybe 20 people out of 100 seats.
I am surprised. Was there a later showing? Because you did go super early. He went at 5.
That was the only Dolby showing, though. But I think tomorrow is the Dolby English showing. So that's probably the one that's going to be packed out.
For sure, yeah.
Anyway, well, thank you for doing this with me, Ryan. Thank you guys for watching. Please tell us everything you think about this movie. I've been avoiding people's thoughts because even though I saw spoilers, I've seen all of these forums and all of these things, unfortunately, a long time ago, really, probably a month ago now. So the whole movie was spoiled for me. But I'd like to know, I really don't know what people's thoughts are as a whole on this movie. I'm excited to read about it more. So please drop your thoughts. And thank you for watching. Ryan will be back one time or another. Ryan will return. Next week, it'll be me and Wesley reviewing more of the Majin Buu saga. So stay tuned for that. And until then, find out next time on Dragon Ball Speed.
Yeah.